My next guest is Wednesday afternoon lunch with Dr. Alan Testa. Now let me let Dr. Testa introduce himself.
I'm a chiropractor. I do a bunch of different things though. I have a background in acupuncture as well as dry needling and soft tissue, which allows me to do a bunch of different things to help a lot of people.
Okay, Dr. Testa's shy. Let's start this like this. Dr. Testa kept me off the operating table twice. His soft tissue skills are what I'm really after. Yeah, believe it or not. Number one, he was able to do some active release techniques, some grasping techniques to get my knee right at that particular time. You see, I have meniscus tears in both knees. And somehow Dr. Testa kept me running and jumping and doing things, even with surgery scheduled.
Yeah, against my best wishes too.
I don't always follow advice. If you understand, as we've always talked about, I'm relentless. So it's kind of going to be on my schedule the way I'd like it, and I like the answer the way I want it. So when I first got in this industry, 17 years ago, I got into training, and they said, if you can find yourself with a soft tissue specialist, specifically an ART practitioner, hook your wagon to them. This is my guy. So, Dr. Testa, without further ado, a couple of different things. Can you go into your soft tissue background, the applications, what you see in your practice, and what you're currently looking at?
As far as the background, I've been doing soft tissue for probably about 15 years now. I really started to notice a bigger difference as far as the application of it once I started to assist in the teaching. Started to pick up on little gems here and there. Tested your knowledge a lot when you had to teach people, because you think you know things when you're learning it, but when you have to teach it, wow, like you really have to dial in and make sure that you're doing everything like on point. And I don't know, like a lot of the things that I see in the clinical setting is just misuse or overuse. And I try not to look past that. You know, there's muscles on both sides of the joint. Some will work together, some will work against each other. And, you know, it's kind of like a puzzle. You know, you got to figure out what your misfunction is or dysfunction and where it's being misused, and try and turn that muscle back on so that things function right, in the hopes that the pain goes away.
You know, we'll have to talk about where the pain is or where you feel the pain, but that's not necessarily where the issue lies, is it?
No, I don't really care where you hurt. I tell all my patients that. I said, I really don't care where you hurt. Sometimes where you hurt is where the problem is, but a good majority of the time, I find that it's coming from somewhere else. And some people, like early in my career, they got really pissed off because I would treat like their ankle for a hip problem, and they would be 90% better, and they would get up and be like, I'm not coming back. You didn't touch my hip. I'm like, but it feels better, right? Yes, but I came from my hip. You worked on my foot. So I would lose some people there. Now it's a matter of just explaining things in that way of like, you have a local problem potentially and a global problem. So we can look at it isolated, or we can take the full thing and look at the whole picture.
Sounds like going to a mechanic and telling the mechanic how to fix your engine. That's amazing.
Yeah, what kind of noise does it make?
Yes, amazing. Yeah. You'll get a lot of that, and I get a lot of that in training as well, where even on the corrective exercise end, you start looking at the ankle for the anterior knee pain or things like that, and you do that the same in practice.
It's a structural thing or something else, or I don't know. I started to dabble a little bit into like applied kinesiology. That just goes on a different spectrum altogether, because you're learning like points in the foot that are acupuncture points that have a lot of control of strength in the hip and shoulder. So I don't know, it's just neat stuff, man. Like to be able to show somebody that when you can massage or stick a needle in an acupuncture point, that they can get stronger in both their shoulder and the hip at the same time. The reactions are outstanding.
You know, it's funny because I think sometimes you get criticism by somebody who's really not an expert in kinesiology, and it's insane. Yeah. It's insane to watch. Let me reverse fields for a minute. When I first started going to you, and especially going for treatment, and actually, let me get into the story of how we first met, because this will be fantastic.
Okay. Are you going?
We had, and shout out to Mike Keller of UFC for the introduction. He was bringing in lecturers once upon a time back at a different club. Yeah. And he would bring in one after another, and I would fucking hammer them. I felt like it was the biggest waste of an hour of my time. And they warned me about hammering the next expert they brought in, which shouldn't have been an issue because they really weren't experts. And then they brought you in, and I remember just hammering you. And I remember you answering all the questions right, and me being so disappointed. Disappointed.
I think when and I'll bring it up. I think when I entered, you were like, "Who the hell is this Elmer Fudd motherfucker?"
That's about correct. That's about accurate.
Then the questions started coming, and I don't know. I just answered, however it was, and you kept on. I feel like, if I recall, you were getting more and more frustrated or heated because you didn't like that the answers that were coming made you sit there for longer.
Usually it really brought in puppets, so I got the stupid ass answer that really didn't make any sense. But what I really found in that particular process that really got me was you had all the answers. And I remember walking out and grabbing your card, and I remember it said ART on it, like we talked about. I was told at the time, if I was going to grow in that field to that elite level, I needed to hitch myself to an ART guy at that particular time. And that's where that came in. Yeah. And I remember saying to you, "Yo, do you really do ART, or is this shit just marketing on a card?" And I get in a car accident 3 weeks ago, and I bang my left knee against the door as I'm T-boned. And it led to a meniscus tear. And I get an MRI, and I get set for surgery. And I was set for surgery out in Weston, and we both know who the physician was at the time. And
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. You kind of kept me off the operating table there, and with a few choice words, and we just kept working on it. And I thought for sure, while I had a lawsuit in place and litigation coming, they settled before I ever got there, and I never had to get on the. I was never going to get on an operating table anyway, but they said schedule it anyway. Yeah. So I did and went along with that. The case settled. And, man, I remember within 2 weeks being able to run sprints, and I was going great. And then you telling me, "Hey, you're running sprints. Do we have to do the start and stop stuff too? Because the shit swelled like a fucking baseball." And you getting the swelling out and said, "Great, I'll see you in 3 days."
Yeah, and then you didn't show up.
Man,
but you were still running.
It was amazing.
Still running until it would swell up again, and then you're like, "I need you to fix me. I need you to fix me."
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny because we talk about different things, and sometimes bodies respond to body reaction. I always remember one thing that you did for me that was really wild. I didn't want to take the FMS back then. And you kept beating on me over the FMS, and you brought the instructor to me. And I'm fucking expecting, I'm about to come through with the instructor, and I got 2 hours tops. I'm smash booked. And I remember coming in, and I'm expecting some fucking pencil neck dweeb, and this dude looks like the blonde-haired Ken doll / Tarzan. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this dude is fucking teaching FMS?
MAT, correct?
No, he was FMS 1, the first FMS class. He was the FMS instructor.
Okay. I thought it was Peter, the big dude?
The gentleman that passed over the...
Yeah.
Okay.
MAT instructor.
He was the MAT instructor. Okay. So he comes in and we go over different fashion for him, and he was the first person to really bring up the weakness in the kinetic chain of the interior core at that time.
Yeah.
Do you know how many fucking people are that strong since then from that? Just off 2 hours sitting with that dude there.
Yeah. That guy went way too early, was beyond smart, and way too many gems. Way too many.
More importantly, the level of patience that dude had with the most passionate, condescending kid out of New York was wild. That would be me. And I always remember he sat there and just the knowledge, the discussing. I had this client at the Arnold, and he kept complaining of his ankles and his knees after squatting and deadlifting. And we just spent 6 weeks on the interior core, and he's pulling 600 pounds and walks in the Arnold and pulls 700. And I'm just like, what? Right? And when I go back and look at the assessment process now, if I have a client that doesn't respond to hip stabilization or hip mobility, and the same issues come up in the psoas with the same hip with the same problem, I don't look at the hip anymore. We look at the anterior core, and especially the opposite side anterior core, because there's a hole in the chain.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is a funny story, because I sent somebody to you recently who just came back with great results with his shoulder. But guess what? It turned out he had the same hole. And when running the testing the other day, I wanted to send him back to you for the same particular reason. Now, there's a lot of things in case study that we could talk about all day. But what do you see in the most in practice now, weakness-wise?
I don't know. That's kind of like, that's too much of a loaded question. Like specifically in what like aspect? You know? I mean,
man, we used to talk about things, and I'll give you this one. Let me narrow it down for you. My generation wore Jordans, right? So you were seeing a ton of Liz Frank for a little while. Okay. But we thought that was due to the shoes, particularly because the kids didn't take the shoes off back then.
It's got to be the shoes.
It's got to be the shoes, yeah, for sure. Especially if they wear 19 pounds and they're on your feet. But my question, I guess, was anything pronounced like that that wasn't around 25 years ago that's really showing up more? Or are they all overuse?
I feel like it's all overuse. I mean, the biggest two areas that I focus on, like one for the hip would be the adductor, and then for the shoulder would be the lat. But there's so much crossover with, you know, the adductor goes from the hip past the knee, so you can have knee issues and hip issues from that. It also ties into the hamstring. And with the lat, like shoulder, lower backs, because of the connection points all the way through. And a lot of times I feel like people are on their phone, so when you're texting and you're dropping your head and you're rounding your shoulders, you're getting a lot of that lat and all that kind of stuff. Plus, if they're competing, especially with guys that I see for football, I was like, if they're running next to somebody, I was like, they're always fighting somebody off with that extension and lat as well. So, you know, you kind of have a crossover with things. It's just, I feel like there's specific sports or specific activities that people do, and then you can isolate those 1, 2, 3 type things. You know, like this is the most, this is probably what we're going to see the most, and then out of those people, if we don't see that, like we go to the next one and then the next one. But it's pretty much just dependent on what activity they do versus, you know, the next person for what injury or what you're looking at the most.
Okay, let me break this into regular people and the athletic population. For those who don't know, Dr. Testa is governed by HIPAA, but I'm not. So he's working on a who's who in the NFL currently. And let's talk about NFL-wise injuries you see most. Non-contact injuries you see most.
ACL.
It's become a regular occurrence, huh?
Well, I'm saying in my office, what
Yes.
do we see? Probably more like muscle strains, like grade 1 or 2 hamstring pulls for the most part.
And are they true hamstring pulls? Like you see in the normal population, I feel like they have adductor injuries that are misdiagnosing as hamstring injuries.
Yesterday?
Yes.
You were in my office yesterday?
2 days ago, but that's fine.
No, I'm saying yesterday it was like, because I had someone come in who fits that description fully, was diagnosed with a grade 1 or 2.
It's adductor, wasn't it?
For his particular case, I think it was more lateral quad.
Okay.
Where his strain was more on the lower outside, and I have a different perspective than most people. So like, you know, maybe the tissue is torn and shows up as a strain in the hamstring. But he kept on saying that when he would come up out of the squat is when he would feel it. And the hamstring pulls the leg back, it doesn't push it up.
Right.
So if it's like a pulley system, one side's off while the other side is still functioning, and the one side that's off is clearly the quad in that instance, even though there's a tear in the hamstring. We focused on the outer portion of that quad and a little bit more, we'll say like deeper underneath the quad. I asked him to get up off the table and walk like fast, because that's when he would feel it. I didn't even look outside the room. I heard the footsteps go down the hall, and then I heard the jogging come back. So he didn't feel it at all. And he is, hopefully it's tough during the preseason, but schedule-wise, hopefully he'll come in a little bit more to get,
Now, tell me, was this diagnosed by the team or diagnosed by his practitioner? Can you say that part or no?
I can't say, probably for two reasons. One being that I shouldn't, and two, I didn't ask.
Okay.
So my whole thing is they probably did some sort of imaging, and it was confirmed under imaging. So that's,
right.
You can't dispute the image.
Understood. Yeah. Okay. Even though the application may be different.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Sometimes you have a lot of things that are going on in your body that are currently there, you just don't feel it. So something breaks down, it's dysfunction, like I said, and if you're able to turn that back on, who cares if there's an injury there? Like your meniscus, for example, it's probably still torn. You know what I mean? I would bet a lot of money.
Both of them.
I would bet a lot of money. We put you in an MRI and we see it's torn. Okay, I was like, but you're able to run, you're able to do everything that you're able to do. And certain things, we just turn on a muscle here or there, like strip it out, whatever it might be, and get it functioning and active again. You're good to go. For how long? Who knows?
They'll talk about injury cases within personal injury, where you used to get a lower back MRI, and if the imaging looked that horrible, it was a cut and dry case. It's no longer the case because you got guys like me walking around with the worst looking MRI in the world. And squat 400 pounds.
I feel like when I was in chiropractic school, there was a study that showed 100 people were to get MRIs without any pain. 80% of them came back with positive findings. So it's like that furthers my point of like, you will have something there, whether it's symptomatic or not, is a completely different story.
Agreed.
So,
okay.
But it's more susceptible to injury because it's already got something that's...
You have no idea how many clients I have come in the gym with, they're reading off an x-ray or an MRI because there's something there on the x-ray or the MRI. And they're imagining the pain that they don't really feel. I can't do this because I have this in L4 and L5. Are you feeling any pain right now? No. Then why do we care about what the imaging says?
Yeah. I don't know. I would want to know. Only because it's an area of weakness and just make sure that we stay on top of it. But if they're giving it to you in that sense of like, well, I have this, I shouldn't do that, that's a whole different ballgame, But
they don't have any pain there.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Well, I'll just continue to load the bar then.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
I'll speak.
I'm just being honest.
I'll speak of myself. I was like, I have herniated disc. I was like, I don't have any pain, but I can do something.
Right.
And it comes right back.
Oh, you do feel like?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was like, well, you have to be overly cautious about it.
No, I understand about being cautious. Please forgive me. Don't get me wrong. There's an extreme to that factor. That's not what I mean.
Yeah, no. But I was like, even if I don't have pain, I was like, I might avoid it because I know that history with it. I was like, that would be one step further to take if somebody takes that up to you.
Being prepared is being prepared. So I never really view it that particular fashion. Are you prepared to be in that position or not? That's another story altogether. Yeah. So, a couple other questions on that front. Tell me this. Background-wise on what you're looking at, how did you delve off to do acupuncture? Because when I first started with you, we weren't doing acupuncture.
I've always had like a desire for it. I think probably before I went to chiropractic school, I was half joking that I wanted to go over to Asia and learn.
Is that because you like the Chinese medicine model, or why particularly?
I think something about being able to heal someone naturally is really good. I feel like that innately, like within our body, we have a lot of things that can fight off a lot of diseases or injuries or whatever you want to call it. And most people go quickly to the quick fix.
Right.
And I'm more for let me see what happens first. And if I can't, then I'll take something to help get me over the hump. And with my experience with back pain, I've tried acupuncture quite a few times. I was like, there's definitely some things that I was noticing with acupuncture points and the soft tissue crossover. I believe that there's a acupuncture point in the ankle here for lower back pain. And when I was doing some soft tissue on like the big toe, people would be feeling better with their lower back pain. So once I started to connect those dots with the past of wanting to do acupuncture, and then I probably would say like there was some dry needling, maybe like things going on at that time, that it just was like, all right, let me get to it quicker, and I was using the needle.
For the audience, there was an article about 6-7 years ago in the New England Journal of Medicine that if you lacked mobility in the big toe, it would shut off your whole posterior chain. Is that why you're getting it? Which is probably why you're getting a response on that trigger point.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, sometimes I don't know how I find the answers because I didn't see that article. It would have been nice, you know.
If I passed it along,
Somebody shared it. Yeah,
that's good. Nice. That's good.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Okay. So, you know, and I'll see this often. I'll often talk about, and I had this conversation on another podcast about gentlemen being done bench pressing after 2 years because there was no nervous system response in the programming. In other words, I'm doing chest one day and I'm doing shoulders the other, as though when I was bench pressing, I wasn't stabilizing the bar with my shoulders. And then I fried my shoulders the following day afterwards. There's a lack of recovery. How often are you seeing, you're talking about overuse.
Yeah.
But how often are you seeing that kind of stuff where because of that,
like a complete shutdown?
Yes.
I mean, not often. You know, but if I do see something like of that nature, I tend to just leave them alone for a little bit. Maybe put them on like I have a PEMF machine.
Okay.
So I'll throw them over there for a little bit to just kind of help stimulate, yeah, and then work with them, because if the system is shot, I think that you overstimulate an overstimulated system. I don't necessarily see a response, but you know, it's also one of those things you have to be able to pick up on it. Like you have to be able to see it, and in our business, we want to help people,
right.
And it's hard to be like, you're not ready, you know?
Okay.
So, I don't know if that answered the question or not, you know?
I would say, yeah. I'm going to ask this question, and let me ask it like this. I got a kid, and we both know who he is. Seems to think he separated his shoulder 4 weeks ago and has turned into a rock star overnight. And can you explain a little bit about the machine you put him on?
No.
I'd love to hear about that.
No. The machine is very, very interesting machine. It uses two forms of technology. One is radio frequency, and the other one is high intensity focused electromagnetic energy. It's a lot of words. Okay.
Super.
What that does is the muscle will contract at a deeper level than stim, because a lot of people will say it feels like stim, but it has the ability to recruit more muscles under the one component, because the machine actually has dual purpose. One is for body sculpting for those that like it. My intention for the machine is more for activating muscles and getting the function to go up higher.
I just want to come in and get abs.
You can do that, you know, but most people don't like to do abs. But the machine, whether you're doing for abs and sculpting or the functional, it's doing about 20,000 muscle contractions in a 30-minute period. And I don't think anybody can get that many muscle contractions in, I don't know, maybe like a week they could, you know. But what it's doing is it's doing it in varying muscle contraction patterns so that you're not going to feel any soreness or discomfort from using the machine. And you should use the machine as a tool to help make a big jump in your recovery. So, you know, expediting the recovery
That
process.
turnaround has been nothing short of amazing. And it was my recommendation for another pro athlete that we're going through, but we'll talk about that in a bit. My question, I think more importantly, is kind of this. Do you have a line around the building, Rap, for the aesthetic, I don't want to work out crowd that wants to do this?
I wish I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I did.
Yeah, you got the quick fix, easy way out crowd. I'm surprised they're not jumping to go see this.
Yeah. Well, everybody's different. It's kind of a mix of insurance and cash practice.
Understood.
That's where it all falls into play.
How do I say this? In a society built on people spending 15 grand to mess up with the Play-Doh, I'm a little surprised.
People are spending a lot more money doing a lot more damage to their bodies than helping, and it is what it is. People can make choices. All I could do is educate and just hope that the trust is there and that they take the advice and they roll with it.
It'll take some time, but it will. But as for
but you know me, I'm not pushy. If anything,
no, I know that. But how do I say this? For the athlete crowd that wants to play next week, they'll jump and see you quick.
Yeah.
For especially in the NFL, where it's a week-to-week league.
Yeah. Sometimes I was
even in the NBA, if you're coming off the Achilles stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes. I mean, it's right now. As far as NFL goes, it's a weird period of time because they need to spend the money to take care of themselves, but some of them are on the chopping blocks, and so they don't want to take
Yeah.
I was like, it's a business.
Yeah,
it's a weird business, but
I would agree.
Whatever it is, it's going to help them, and they should do it, whether it's short term or long term. Because if it's not this opportunity, it would be the next. I mean, you're talking what, 1%, top 1% or less of like football players make it to the NFL.
With a window of how long?
2 years, or is it 3 years?
3.5. I think it is. Yeah.
I think it's just shy of the whatever their what is it? 3 years, 3 games.
4 years. 4 years is vested. Yeah, roughly.
I was like, so it's just shy of.
Just shy of that. So I think it's 3.5. Yeah, I think that's rough.
Funny how that works. Right?
Yeah. always. What are you working on now? When I say what are you working on now, it's this. Every time I talk to you, there's something new. It was FMS1 to FMS2 to acupuncture to, I know you spent some time in gut health in the space for a minute.
Yeah.
With enzymes and such.
Yeah. That's kind of come around a little bit. I was like where I'm just more focusing on different types of supplements that are out there. Again, more of the natural remedies. Mostly what I'm working on at this point is, how can I fix something faster to where the patient's happy, and mostly these are happy because they're starting to hurt, from doing the labor. So like literally all I'm trying to work on is just different types of fixes. It's like the shoemaker, right? His kids don't have shoes. So like for me, I was like, I'm helping a lot of people. I was like not necessarily taking the time to help myself, and that's why it's like always trying to find a quicker fix. And the one thing that I would say is like that applied kinesiology. I don't think, I mean the amount of knowledge that's in there, some of it goes way out there, and that's fine for some of those people. I was like, but there's just so much information that it takes a lot of time to learn it. And I usually don't speak of something until I'm comfortable enough. Like master of all, that type of thing. Yeah. Or jack of all, master of none. So it's kind of, I want to make sure I own all of it and kind of keep going in that way.
It's hard to really get in front and lecture until you've dominated a subject.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
But like I said, I was like, if you're able to teach it, that's when you really know things, because it's, I'm telling you, when I taught those classes, it was like a 3-day class of ART, and a day and a half, like people would ask me a question, I was like, go ask so and so. I'm mentally just I'm done, tapped out, and I didn't realize how hard it was to teach, And I was an assistant, not even a teacher,
Well, my grandfather used to say the greatest skill was the ability to teach.
Yeah.
Like you don't really understand what goes into it, what goes into sharing knowledge, how to get it across, how to get the message across, knowing your audience, knowing how to reflect them. We always talk about, and I did this in the early days with training, cues.
Yeah.
I started to ask the client what clicked so I could use it again.
Yeah. No, seriously. The feedback. Yeah.
Seriously.
But the one thing is like when you're teaching, you're learning so much more, like so much more. Because that's the part that I was like, you think you're teaching, but you're actually learning so much in that process.
It's one of those things where the student becomes a teacher. where you, how do I say this? Your audience really teaching you back whether you, not only did you grasp the knowledge, the application, but did you cue it correctly?
Yeah.
But
there's also different learners and like,
right.
So like it helps out in patient care because I have different types of people that I'll look at them and I'll say something and sometimes I get a blank look and 90% of them get it. And I'm like, okay, well now I got to just turn it a little bit for perspective.
I had a pleasure early on in my career is that and I got nicknamed the lawyer whisperer, but I had a bunch of attorneys around me.
It's better than Elmer Fudd.
It is, for sure. So, and the reason I look at it like that is kind of this way, is they gave me, their feedback was so direct and to the point. They were excellent communicators, and they told me the response that worked for them. And they said, listen, you should teach it this way. And it's something I really grasped on later, where, listen, rather than I'm teaching it, don't tell me how to teach it, let me get what the audience understood, and let me try to regurgitate it in a way the audience would understand, rather than somebody teaching it who's an expert.
Yeah. I mean, put it in lay terms.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, when we were going to chiropractic school, all of my classmates were regurgitating all these words, and I was just using very basic. It's good for patient communication, maybe not the best for doctor to doctor, but I don't think I'm talking to doctors as much as I'm talking to patients.
So, yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah, I feel like it's rare you're addressing professionals in the field the same way. Yeah. You talked about teaching. We dwelled on other factors health-wise. The last thing I want to go to is you. So, all of a sudden, somebody's into a cold plunge trend. How'd that start? Where we go from there? How'd that begin?
Honestly, I don't fucking know. I just remember being at the gym, and I really don't remember how I got into it. I was like, but about 2 years ago, I started. I was very scared because I would go up to it and I'd walk away. Then I'd go up to it again and then I'd walk away. I'd get on my phone, I'd do all kinds of things. And then I started to do it, like I just got in, maybe started like chest, stomach, whatever, arms out, and slowly started to build up over some time. And I just really started enjoying it. I think it does more mental for me than anything else. I don't know, like I know they say there's a lot of benefits, although there's people arguing both sides of it now, like, it's going to inhibit muscle growth. But I think it's only if you do it after
the workout,
but some people still argue to the death of it. But ultimately for me, like, it just is a mental toughness. It's something like you look at, I don't want to do it, and then you do it, and once you're out, you feel better. The days go by a little bit better, and I feel like you can control a little more of what's going on in your day-to-day life with less stress, if you will. It centers you a good bit. And I know there's the cortisol levels, all of the things that kind of go along with it. But overall, I was like, I just really started enjoying it and noticing a difference that way.
It's funny because I remember leaving Morgantown in college. After college, and you get done playing, and they used to require we get in a cold tub after practice.
What was the temperature of that one?
Oh shit,
50s.
You gotta be kidding.
Lower?
Yeah 35, maybe 36. And I hated it. And to watch everybody do it again, and more importantly, to this day now, I do cryo every morning now. And I just honestly, I hate all 3.5 minutes of it, but the truth is, nothing wakes me up like that. Like the coffee doesn't even hit me like that.
No.
Right? It always puts me in a positive place. The dopamine hit being 300% more than cocaine, from what everybody talks about.
Okay.
That's clearly a positive mindset. The mental clarity I have for the next 3 hours is wild. Do I feel like there's an anti-inflammatory effect to the body? Yes. Did I feel like that's what got me through double and triple sessions back in college? By the way, I was in college. Man, I must be old. Because, sheesh, the way they practice now, you know how that is. But we had triple sessions at times back then.
Only one, I think, now, right? Maybe a double?
Nah, bro. Whatever they're doing is crazy. whatever. It's wild. The kids aren't prepared, but it is what it is. And you wonder why there's a slash of injuries, but
that's a conversation for another day.
I would agree,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like the kids are prepared well. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, after you get sick and after you struggle, I don't want to become complacent.
Yeah.
And that 3.5 minutes is kind of a reminder of, you better be ready to battle tomorrow and the next day. I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Right? Enjoy things. I'm not saying not to enjoy life, but I need just that.
You can't enjoy that 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, oh, bro. And by the way, we have a level where you put a code in on where they call the level insanity.
Yeah.
So I got to cue the code in and put it in, and I'm just miserable just thinking about it every time.
Interesting.
But I get out like a rock star and about out of hell
I've never
for sure.
tried the cryo sauna. You know,
The cryo?
the cryo chamber,
Right.
Or whatever. Yeah, I've never tried.
Why have you not come through and tried that?
I don't know. Maybe I should. I was like,
I would think that.
But it makes me
We
curious.
came through and we hosted you and you did the whole event and you didn't go in there at all?
No,
You didn't even ask?
no. Didn't think to. But next time I'm there, I will. I mean, I'll probably do the same thing, pace around for about 15 minutes.
I walk in there, I just get annoyed. I said a coffee. I'm sorry, I rock a cocktail of an energy drink and a coffee. So we're ready to roll. And I don't even touch either one of them. I put them both on the counter. Walk in there miserable, come out a rock star. Start my drinks and I'm ready to roll.
And then just go work out.
Mobility work.
Yeah.
Another thing I hate.
Yeah. But it's a necessary.
I'll skip the workout. I won't skip the mobility work. And I fucking hate it, bro.
Yeah. But it's a necessary evil,
You know what?
You just gotta keep moving.
It is.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. Ready? And every time I have a practitioner on, I ask the same fucking thing, or I make the same statement, so they will understand it. Ready?
Yeah.
The number one thing in health and fitness is movement.
Yes.
Okay? I'm sorry. Sleep is ranked before that, but that's about it. Okay?
Fair.
But movement is the one. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when the crowd comes at me with it's 90% diet, and I remember being on Hugo's show in this studio, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago, and we had the same question, and I asked, have you seen the dudes who came out of prison? He said, I did that. I said, great. How ripped were you? He said, pretty ripped. Why? What'd you do all day?
Worked out.
Yeah.
Move.
Okay. So then you cannot trade a lousy diet. No. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Because apparently the words I understood was Whole Foods doesn't deliver there.
No.
Okay. Super. So, and those dudes were coming out shredded one at a time, right? So then you realize, no, you can out trade a lousy diet. We just don't have time to. But those dudes got nothing but time, right? But the first movement is medicine.
Yeah.
So when I see Dr. Peter Attia all over social media saying I wanted to dismiss that exercise was the health elixir, and then it just became so apparent I couldn't, from one research into another, you got to move.
A lot of times my patients come in, I was like, what do you do for exercise? And it's like I'm shaming them. And I was like, I don't really mean exercise like exercise. I just mean movement. I was like, you do anything, like even if they're dancing.
Yeah,
right?
Do you ever
like,
get some of them with, I mop the floor, I'm not lazy, I wash them do the laundry.
But even that,
like it's getting ridiculous.
But even that is movement. You know what I mean? I was like, clean up the whole house. That's movement. You know what I mean? I was like, you're gonna squat, you're gonna lunge, you're gonna lift. You know what I mean? So it's like, in a certain sense, I was like, I'm talking about people that like all they do is just sit on a computer all day. Literally, that's all they do. And they're like, I don't understand. I'm not really doing anything. That's why I was like, because you need to move. Somebody could be obese and be in better shape than someone who's skinny. Because the person who's skinny not doing anything is hurting themselves. The obese person may have some problems like losing weight, but they're going out and dancing every week. I was like, they're sweating, they're moving in different planes of motion. I was like, which is also very important for like joint health and all the muscle firing. So like you can just go down a continuum there.
I'll always tell everybody, it is better to be the fat diabetic than the skinny diabetic.
Yeah.
And they all look at me, why? And I always give the same answer. The fat diabetic has their visceral fat dispersed across their body. Skinny diabetic doesn't have any place to put it, so it wraps around the organs. You go into organ failure, the show's over.
Yeah.
Okay? And really the only way to break that down is movement at that point, because I need to release enough growth hormone to do it.
Yeah.
But how many people are going to stress the body that much?
Not many.
Yeah.
Not these days.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the tech,
So you really have to go over that with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand the health markers that are there. And I think the doctor taking 16 health markers at your primary is a joke, especially when they're all downstream and I can't see the problem until it's flared in my face.
Yeah. When
I want to smell the fire before it starts burning in my living room.
So when I was doing the enzyme stuff, it was one of those things like you would check the urine because that's where the problem would show up first.
Right. When
you check the blood, they were saying it was too late. Like the problem. Like you can fix it. You might be able to fix it, but it's there.
I'm not sure. Okay, I like the urine test. Please don't get me wrong. I love the statement you just made. But there are 91 other markers I could rock with that would have got that a whole lot faster than the bullshit 16 they're rocking for.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue. That's my case, is that we don't really have a system that's proactive like that.
No.
So,
well, I mean, who knows? Who knows if there'll be like a fix? I mean, it's all centered around money, so.
Agreed.
And the money is in the favor of the other side, not on our side as far as like patients or doctors. It's the companies, the big ones.
Yes, I'm aware. So, tell me this. Do you make diet recommendations in your...
Do I make diet recommendations?
Yes.
I tend to stay away from it, and just more like guidelines.
Okay.
More than recommendations, because most people are like maybe they follow it for a little bit, just turns out to be a little bit of wasted effort. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd rather be like, make sure you're drinking this much water, having this much protein.
Gotcha.
Try and cut out I'm not saying cut out the fats, but the carbs, like the simple carbs, or the simple carbs.
You're just one of the first soft tissue practitioners I saw that tried to delve into everything, realizing all of this affected the inflammation in the body. That's why I was looking at that. Also, when we talk about energy waves and the waves of the body, again, you seem to run towards a Chinese medicine model, rather than, it doesn't have to be your god, but the model.
No, I was like, but it's one of those things. They're going more holistic approach first, and then medicine. And I was like, and it's a belief system. I was like, not everybody's going to believe the same way that I do, in the sense of like running to like a supplement of an herb or whatever. I was like, but I think at one point I was looking at certain I think it's an encyclopedia of herbs and something else. And in there's an herb or a plant that is designed to cure every single ailment that's out there, it seems like, according to this book.
Right.
So I'm assuming that whatever's in this pill or supplement is also in this pill made by some pharmaceutical company with a bunch of fillers to make it work faster and stronger.
Right.
That's the component. I was like, try something naturally first, and if it's not working for you and you've tried and exhausted everything, okay, go for it. I was like, because I don't have a problem with medicine, I just have a problem with jumping to that as the first solution. Because like another story is like, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure and high cholesterol.
Right.
I said, first question, if I go on those things, when can I come off? The PA said never. Okay, this was in 2015, 2016, when my dad passed. I went through like a whole thing like with stress, and probably led to the high blood pressure or the cholesterol, is whatever, right? I was like, but 2 kids, new dad. I basically was a lazy piece of shit and eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream and not moving, okay? So I said to the lady, I said, fine. I was like, I'd be willing to do that, but how do I get off them? You don't. I was like, there's no exit strategy. She's like, once you're on them, you're on them. And then she starts spitting out like, I also don't want you to eat any eggs, right? Because of your cholesterol. I was like, we're doing 1980s medicine right now.
There we go.
There's good cholesterol in eggs. Like, why would you not want me to have it? Now, fast forward to today.
Can I take it a step forward? How are you creating hormones?
Cholesterol.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cholesterol and saturated fat.
Yeah.
I know, whoa.
Yeah.
I need raw ingredients. Like, okay, so you wonder why there's an HRT clinic and a fertility clinic on every block?
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, but it's one of those things like I have significantly reduced my dosage of my blood pressure medicine. Never went on actually, I'm sorry. I tried the cholesterol medicine and maybe it was like in my head. Within 1 week, I started to feel like crap, joint pain, muscle pain, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, forget it, I'm done.
Right.
And now I've been exercising.
By the way, you know that's
dieting.
very common. The drug rep now goes to dispel the myth that it causes joint pain because it causes everybody joint pain.
Well, they were like, it's too soon for you to have it. And I was
Right.
like, okay, whatever. I was like, maybe I'm sensitive to it, whatever.
Okay, it's too soon.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But I ended up like diet, exercise, and it's better. You know what I mean? It was like there's some genetical components, I'm sure, but you know, if you need to work out. If you have high cholesterol, not like, and you know that, like, not necessarily cardio,
right?
Like weight training for because it utilizes more of that
component.
Yeah.
So, last question: where can everybody find you? Because I'm sure
not here.
Not here. Okay, that's great. Hey, no, seriously, but where can everybody find you? Because there's a lot of people who think surgery is the only last resort. I'm
in Davie, Florida, 5400 South University Drive, Suite 603. Come see me.
This is where you drop the number.
954-900-2942.
Folks, I think it might be worth a visit, especially if you're looking to have surgery and you think it's the only option left. He kept me off the operating table twice. There's a lot of things within the body that have mechanisms, and sometimes we just only advantage where the pain is, and we think that's the only way, that it's just necessarily going to go away with surgery, and the problems won't reoccur. The body's brilliant. It takes the path of least resistance. You want to get it moving and functioning optimally again. Check out Dr. Testa.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man.